So this one's going to be
time lapsing. Third. What do they do upstairs? The church. This week, we're actually combining 2 weeks or 2 modules. You'll notice that we actually use the word weeks and modules interchangeably because in reality, you're in an asynchronous world. You're dialing into or accessing the Bridges site, and then you're looking at a group of content or a bunch of content strung together that equals a week or a module. So this week, you're getting 2 weeks. You're getting stress and workplace well-being or worker well-being, and then you're going to get group, process, and teamwork. And this is a version of me. I was waiting for the video to kick on, so I decided to scribble a little bit. I put the bow tie here, so if you're wondering, that's where it is today. It's a little bit later in the evening, and I felt that this would be an appropriate topic because this is usually when people stress out. When you think of stress and workplace well-being, you really think of people. But in reality, I want you to think of this section more as self. So you have self, and then I'd like you to think of group process and teamwork as more of others. So you can't, and one of the reasons why I group these sections is I can't have a sense of self and understand stress without acknowledging teamwork and group process. So I'm going to treat them individually, and then I'm going to treat them sort of in combination and go back and forth. So as you know, we always have catalyst questions that come from really a practitioner academic way of thinking. That is, not only am I an academic, but I'm actually first and foremost a practitioner. That is, I'm in the world of OD, I've worked with IOPs, and industrial organizational psychologists love to influence work in a positive psychological way in many cases so that someone is really much more engaged so they don't actually encounter stress. If you think of, for instance, Google, you'll think of a company that, I was just with a gentleman, Mitch, out there, who's a product manager. He handles, I don't know if I can actually say the number, let's just say it's close to a B in terms of the number of transactions that he handles. So he's in the e-commerce function inside Google Play, if you've actually played with that online. And he actually doesn't pay for any of his food. He drives a stick shift Ford Taurus, and he's happy. He's not stressed, but he works 85 hours a week. So how are you going to explain that with a classic IOP model? Well, that's kind of interesting. Well, first and foremost, we never really gave people food. So if you think of the motivation module, it did not include, Maslow's diagram was food, safety, remember this? Eventually shelter, belonging, what else? You got it, come on. Self-esteem, self-actualization. So self-esteem included self-confidence. So Google said, hey, you know what? We're going to give you money. We're also going to give you food. That means your shelter's probably going to be better. You're automatically belonging to a different tribe. People get happier. Now what's interesting is they're removing the stress. A gentleman Chip Conley, who started Airbnb, I didn't give him his own little notebook, little notepad rip, but Chip Conley wrote a book called Peak, How Great Companies Get Their Mojo from Maslow. Interesting. He took this 1964 model and started thinking about it within the context of modern work. Before he was Joe DeVie Hotel, he was the owner and founder of that, but he started looking at emotions such as anxiety or stress, which they're often used interchangeably. Anxiety is what you can't control, so it's what's unknown, multiplied by what's uncertain. So this has to do with what I don't know, and this is what has to do with what I can't control. So if you think about anxiety, and if I were to ask a bunch of people, research assistants in the room, etc. right now, who are actually doing the video recording piece of this, what do you think anxiety is, or when you experience anxiety, what is it? Almost never can someone come up with, it's what I don't know times what I can't control. But if you think about being stressed out about money, you can actually think, and I do this often in lecture and live lecture, I ask people for different stressors, and they always come up with money. And then if I actually create a chart that says, tell me what you know, tell me what you want to put not equal sign, don't know, tell me what you can control, and tell me what you can't control, so not equal control. And I make a chart. And I would say, what do you know? They say, well, I have a job. I have friends with money, I borrow money. I have family, I have student loans, I can get more money from that. I have a great aunt, she's really great. Oh wait, because she gives me money, double great. The other thing that I can do is I can always get a second job. Wait a minute, I can get a first job. Oh wait, I can sell things on eBay. I can sell that great aunt stuff on eBay that she gave me too. Make some more money. So she's a triple great aunt. These are all interesting things that I now know. Once I know things, I start to get less stressed out about money, and then I think about, okay, I can't control. What can I control? Probably inflation. If I think about what I can control, or what I don't know, what I can't control, or what I can control is I can control my time management. I can control my expenses. I can lower them. I can control, maybe I can be more creative about how I, have roommates and maybe lower costs. Again, has to do with expenses. And this list gets long. What I can't control is, probably inflation. So what happens typically is that if I were to assign a number to anxiety and someone said, hey, I'm really anxious about money, like I'm 100, like 100 is really high. But once they go through this exercise, they actually say, what is unknown to me? I actually know a lot. If I were to put a number on it, it's like 1. If I'm uncertain about something, it's a 2. So now 1 times 2 is everybody, very good, is a 2. If you know a lot of things, you could even say that, my unknown is 0, and anything times 0, of course, is 0. So my anxiety went from 100 to 0, which means I actually was able to self-monitor through emotional intelligence. I'm able to actually have awareness of self and awareness of others. But with tools like this, we can reduce stress. So my real question for you this week is, where are all of these tools? Please Google Emotional Equations by Chip Conley. Look at his TED Talk. Understand the past of a joy defeat. Look at the growth of Airbnb. Why is it that workplace well-being is so difficult? We can think of the ecology of organizations. When I say ecology, the evolution, right? Most organizations started when we were building things, right? We were actually chopping metal, shearing metal sheets, building ships. So we were breaking down tasks in this sort of Fredrickson style, right? This Frederick Taylor, right? This Tayloristic style, not Fredrickson, Frederick Taylor. And this Tayloristic style was done to chop tasks so I could teach him and her how to actually do the tasks at Bethlehem Steel. But that hierarchical, mechanistic sort of chop style doesn't really promote integration, me feeling like I'm whole. So over time, we realize, and you can think of self-determinism theory, SDT theory from Ed Deci and Rich Ryan, that if we start to plug in tools that don't get weird, that don't get crazy, but that are really basic but yet primally connected to what matters most, which is self-care, well-being at work, worker well-being, not the place, the worker. Before it was place, now it's worker. Our stress goes down. Our stress goes down, I can be more mindful. I suffer less of what are called amygdala hijacks. That's the part of the brain that gives me the freeze, fight, or flight. I'm more able to be able to respond to whatever life gives me. Boom. Stress and worker well-being. Not workplace, notice the no smoking sign style of knocking out place. It's about you first. So another question. Why is it that we don't actually introduce these when we onboard people into jobs? Why don't we do this? Something for you to address within the context of the Catalyst questions, the forums. That is one of the questions that you can answer. Which one of these matters most? Stress, self, or workplace process? Clearly you can see now that one is dependent or interdependent on the other. They're relationally connected. How do you teach either? Well, we try to tell people that they have to be good at teams, and we say don't be stressed. That's about it. And how do we promote and enhance both? I'm going to show you some of this right now. What's really interesting is as professors who teach online, we want people present a lot, right? We want to go to meetings, we want to be there, we want to see your face. Yet, there are entire degrees that are conferred because of distance learning. In fact, most of learning happens in a teamwork style that is virtual. So we'll call that VTM when I was at Duquesne, virtual team management. And virtual team management really doesn't mean that the team is a hologram. It just means that I don't see you often, or I see you by Skype or GoToMeeting, GTM, or Zoom, or I see you some other way, Google Hangouts. I just had a call with Kaplan today for the nonprofit that I work with as a CLO, Chief Learning Officer. We were all over the world. We were all able to be engaged because of Google Hangouts. So the world of technology allows us to be more human in interaction with one another when we can actually be less stressed and dialed into being present through these channels. So what's the future of group process and teamwork? Well, I gave you profs that teach online as an example of, well, it's just not a PowerPoint world. In fact, through your surveys, you said to me, Dr. Rebello, Dr. D, whatever, the bow tie-less guy tonight, but only tonight, special edition of the lecture. I really love the videos. I like the videos mostly because, the PowerPoints are great, but I'm a video person. I need to see you, hear you, feel connected to you. So there's a live-ish style to the way I lecture to you. I don't just talk here. I'm looking at the camera. I'm showing me driving in to my office off-site in my car. Why? Because I want you to be connected to who I really am as an individual. So that has to enter the equation of group process and teamwork, right? But it also can get in the way. When somebody shows up and they tell you all of their garbage, their head trash, who wants to listen to everyone's stuff? You're not going to go to somebody as an expert who's constantly vomiting all of their personal business. So how do we address this? Well, we go back to stress and worker, not place well-being. We start to do what Maslow called his psychohygiene. Let's scrub the crap out of our brains. Let's cleanse ourselves, if you will. Place. We're seeing more of a connection. Steelcase is a good example of the power of place and how place and the way a place is designed, whether it's open forum or whether it's open spaces, whether there's a farmer's table like the one we have here that's 8 feet long, it's an antique, couple of pieces of wood. Why do we do that? Because there are times when being in conversation and community makes a difference when we're on that piece of furniture versus another. FEI, Financial Executives International, services about 12,000 CFOs and senior financial folks around the world. I was in a meeting the other day, $6.7 trillion of market capitalization. These people were most concerned about being a good team, but handling the way they are in relationship to one another so that that can happen. So even accountants and financial professionals who are highly technical care about this. Yahoo, the CEO, said no more virtual jobs, and basically said we need to see each other more. When that happened, their CEO really, created lots of news because nobody wanted to not be at home and show up at work, but they really wanted to be in a relationship. So one of the thoughtful, reflective questions is now what, right? We have pressure to be connected all of the time. We have the tools to do it and to do it well. The issue really is how do you distill an approach that allows you to be human through in a technocratic society. I want you to think about designing an intervention where you create rules of the road, a roadmap for when to have face-to-face conversations, when to go through technology, and what technology channels and why. That'll be what you're going to address here so that you reduce stress and enhance productivity as IOPs, industrial organizational psychologists, or organizational development professionals. So group processes, what channels of communication specifically, when and why not more of these equations to onboard people and to intervene and to give people opportunity to do what I said Maslow did, which was psychohygiene. We'll have more questions in the Catalyst questions section of the forums. Really appreciative of your time. There's quite a bit to discuss, and the online conversation is going to move very, very quickly this week. As you move into the third paper, which is due shortly, I want you to be very mindful of numbering pages. Citations, you should have 13 to 15, 16, 17 of them. They should be integrated and balanced with your personal voice. And you can go back to past lessons when you need to make your point. Every one of your papers should be something that you show to someone who you're going to work for, with, or going to be connected to at work, because they'll understand your worldview. So, as Michelangelo once said when he was 87, Ancora imparo, which means still I learn. I hope you're still learning as we enter the final part of the course. Dr. Dennis Rubello signing off.